Okay, so the actual realm of the strange event is here. We're going to be going over every cavern, recommending what I do and don't for farming. This video is going to be faster paced, so do keep that in mind as there's a lot of caverns. Also, this event did just come out on Europe servers. There's still a few more hours left on NA and has already been out on Asia. So for the people from Asia watching this, I hope you saved your runs. Stuck grinding in Honkai Star? Need stellar jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for save, fast, and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Starl or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Star Rail top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. When you head over to the page, all you need to do is pick the pack you do want, enter your UID and server, and buy now. If you want codes and coupons to apply, be sure to create an account for proper savings. USD is the recommended usage currency for best saving. Once everything is set, you can see the savings you're about to get. Want even extra savings? Be sure to use code PRESR at checkout for 5% off. Perfect for last minute pulls or surprising a friend. Click on the link in the description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails. Alright, so the first cavern, the Hunter set, Eagle set. Hunter set is very bad, no one uses it. Eagle set, however, is the best Relic set in the game. The whole reason I can recommend this cavern is just because how broken Eagle is. I don't really care about my philosophy only because of how strong Eagle is. This set is just so broken to the point. My philosophy is you pick one cavern that has double the value so you can have double the chance. However, Eagle is just that good. A lot of people will think of it as an only like zero cycle perspective thing, which I guess is fair, but honestly there's so many cases that you can use it just for faster clears in general. Faster clears means your team is going to be clearing for a while longer than normal. Honestly, I can have like 15 different videos talking about why Eagle is the best set in the game, but the only reason I recommend this cavern is just because Eagle is good. So that's why I recommend this cavern. Unfortunately for Hunter, you just destroy it because there's just no one going to use it. Then we got the champion set, thief set. Don't farm this champion set. There's not really anyone that uses it. There's some applications like Argentia, I guess, if you still use them, and then like Robin for the 4-piece. However, they just have better options. And then the thief set, no one uses this. It's like the equivalent of just 2-piece break and 2-piece break with a bit of an extra effect. So unless you've been playing for a while, you just have pieces laying around. You're not actually going to go out and farm for this, as it's just not any really point. For support, you have Watchmaker on one, or they just use like the actual Iron Calvary. I don't know why I said Forge. I meant to say Watchmaker. These set, it's just kind of there as a placeholder. So do not farm that cavern. Then we have Passerby and Musketeers. This is also one not to farm. Passerby is not used, just for the 2-piece on some healers. However, for all those healers, you really just have the Goddess set now, and the 4-piece starting with skill point was a very early meta thing. It's not really valid anymore. There's no point. Musketeers, it's not really best in slot for anyone. It's just for 2-piece while you farm for set characters and best in slot 4-piece. So also do not farm this cavern. Then we have the guard set and quantum set. Guard set, not really used. 4-piece has like a niche with Mortanix Blade, but honestly not really many people will do that. However, quantum set also still very broken. If it's on a DPS that helps them reach upwards of 70% defense ignore in the battle where they originally wouldn't without it, then it can honestly be best in slot over the actual best in slot options that are listed for a lot of DPS. So if you are in those situations where you're reaching like 80%, 90% or higher defense ignore with the Genius set, or you're also just a big Anoxa main, Genius set is going to be valuable. And since Eagle and Genius are like the two notorious early game sets that have just remained broken, this is the same thing that applies to Eagle, less so because I think Eagle is just way more valuable, and Genius is one you can more ignore than Eagle because Eagle can just net you so many better clears. It still applies here. So even though guard set is not too valuable, Genius is just that good. So if you have characters that can use it, I definitely recommend it. Then we have the Knight set and also the Band set. Knight set no longer used because shielders have the new Permetatory Dawning set, and Band set is also not used at all, as the characters that were able to use this or still technically can have better options. So this is also just not an option to use anymore. So this cavern has no value. Now we have Firesmith and also the Wastelander set. Firesmith has been one of the worst relic sets in the game since launch. Never was valuable. You always like just salvage it. You can have the best pieces ever. Your most cope was 2-piece, but that's really it. Wastelander inherently still isn't bad. Only one who really uses the 4-piece is Welt. However, Welt, especially now after his buffs, like prefers something like Eagle and can honestly just use Pioneer better. Hence why Wastelander isn't necessarily an option for him. It's still there and it still is competitive, but not many people are going to have it, and it's not worth going out your way to farm it. So this cavern overall is not really recommended either. Then we have the Disciple set and also Hackerspace. Disciple is not really best in slot for many characters. It's really just OG Blade if you still use them, and the 2-piece can kind of work for Fushwan if you still use her. Hackerspace, this still can be a good set. And then there's always 2-piece speed. So Hackerspace still does have its value. If you really want Hackerspace pieces, then I would just recommend farming something else and using your Relic Remains. We're finally getting into the territory where Relic Remains are valid. So I recommend not farming this cavern and doing something else. Now we have the Duke set and the Prisoner set. So Duke is more valuable now, mainly because of Ashvale. So if you do have Ashvale, you're going to be wanting to farm this. However, the other characters that use it aren't necessarily that meta as of now, like Topaz, Jingwan, so on and so forth. So it's really only if you do have Ashvale on your account, and on the flip side, if you have the dot characters on your account, Black Swan, Hyselines, anyone on the dot team doing damage, so pretty much any dot unit that isn't Kafka, is going to want the Prisoner set. So if you have Ashvale and you have some dot characters for the damage, you definitely want to farm this cavern. Otherwise, Relic Remains. Now we have Pioneer and Watchmaker. Pioneer is still a very good set overall. Ashvale, funny enough, can also use this very well. But really, any debuff related DPS can use this, or just any DPS that has a debuff and on a team that can inflict enough debuffs, because it's just really good. 12% damage, up to 8% crit rate, up to like 24-ish% crit damage. I forgot how much exactly. It's still just a really good set. And then Watchmaker, you always want to have someone on your team, on a break team, holding this. Well, not always. It really depends on the team you're running. Preferably, it's going to be good just because it's extra break effect, but it still does have its value depending on your team. So in a sense, if you do have both cases where applicable, since practically every account is going to have someone that can use Pioneer. But of course, you want to optimize and try to find a actual cavern with 2 different relic sets that can be used for you. So if you have one or the other, Relic Remains. Now we have Iron Calvary and Wind-Soaring. So Iron Calvary, best in slot for every break DPS, and also characters like Dahlia and even Fuke can hold it. So it's very valuable if you have any form of break. Wind-Soaring, this set isn't necessarily too valuable. Overall character who uses this is Yunli. However, Fei Xiao, when most people thought this was best in slot, which it is one of them, but Eagle, especially if you have an E2 Fei Xiao now, is just better. Even at E0, I personally prefer Eagle much more. And at E2, Eagle, it's not even really a close comparison, to be honest. The extra turns you get with E2 Fei Xiao on Eagle is insane. So I mostly would recommend Eagle for Fei Xiao specifically, but if you still do use this and you want to use this, then it would have more valuable assets to you, especially if you also use Yunli or anything, or want to update or build, then you would have it double, but mainly focusing on Iron Calvary. If you have a form of break, you're going to want to get better pieces. Otherwise, Relic Remains if you have one or the other. Now we have Scholar and actually Relieved Ordeal. I don't know why I reversed it. This is a very valuable cavern for really like any account. Relieved Ordeal is just really good, especially for people that don't necessarily want to optimize with Eagle, which I'm gonna be honest, is probably both of you, both players that are more on the casual side or even higher up that just want more damage instead of like turn stuff. So most of you probably watching this. So Relieved Ordeal in that sense is very valuable because it is actually just in fact a good set, plus the 2-piece speed is always good, and Scholar is also just a very universally good set for anyone that actually gets the benefits out of it. The 2-piece is really good. 4-piece is just more damage for skill and ultimate, and additional for skill after using ult. The upcoming character Gilgamesh can use this. You can use this on Anaxa if you're not using Genius. You can still use this on like Maide. You can honestly still use it on Finon. You can throw it on Jinglu if you really want. There's a lot of applications where it does work. So this cavern is just overall really valuable for most accounts. So that's why I recommend this wholeheartedly. Then we have the hero set and also the poet set. Hero set mainly for Aglia. You can also use this on like a DMC. I don't know why I'm saying the wrong words entirely. RMC DPS set. That's probably why I said DMC. I thought of DPS and then RMC, so I said DMC. No, RMC DPS set. This does work. It's mainly for Aglia though, I'm just gonna say. And then Poet, when applicable, is very good. Best in slot for damaging Tribbies, best in slot for casters, best in slot for Jade, and even characters with low speed that can actually utilize it, such as someone like Claro or Yunli, and even the Herda setups if you don't activate the speed traces. There's a lot of weird applications you can use, and Poet set is just overall valuable, especially since it's used on a lot of characters that many people own. So if you have Aglia and you have characters that can benefit from Poet, then I would recommend this cavern. Otherwise, Relic Remains. Then we have Warrior Goddess and also Wavestrider. Warrior Goddess is really the best in slot for practically any healer now, and especially on the very commonly used Hyacine. Flip side, Wavestrider, not super used. It's best in slot for an E0 Finon. There is a better set for E2 Finon and higher now. However, still is good on him. And also you can use this on your Saber if you really care. Although with the upcoming character Gilgamesh, depending on the team you're running, it might be a bit more difficult to do that. So if you have applicable situations, which practically every account's gonna have some form of applicable cases for Warrior Goddess, however Wavestrider maybe not so much. If you do for both, definitely go ahead and farm it, otherwise Relic Remains. Then we have Remaking Deliver and also the Recluse set. Remaking Deliver, good set. You can throw this on your RMC for a bit more support, especially using it on the best in stock characters for someone like Cyrene and Evernight, especially since it can stack, so you can use them all together. Flip side, this is the best in slot for any shielder in the game. If you still use Japard, it's best in slot for him. If you use Wind-Soaring, best in slot. And if you use especially Promethotary Tanning, best in slot. So most people are going to have a form of value of Recluse. Maybe not World-Remaking Deliver, but there's so many commonly characters that are owned for the set to be valuable. So this is also a cavern I do recommend if you do have both. Otherwise, you guessed it, Relic remains. Then we have Ever Glorious and also the Diviner set. This can be summed up by if you use Elation. If you use Elation, farm this. If you don't farm it. That's really it. Finally, we have the Navigator set and also the Divine set. The primary characters you would think about for this is Divine set. I don't know why I clicked Divine and then moved over. The Navigator set is going to be best in slot for Himiko Nova. Diviner set is best in slot. Sorry, Divine set is best in slot for Mortanic Blade if you're not doing Eagle for like someone like Acheron or just more turns in that sense. You can also use Divine on characters that just have defense shred in their kit. Like you can throw this on Pela. If Cypher has Relic Cone or Pearls, you can do that. There's a few applications for this. Divine, I keep mixing up the names. Navigator set, this is best in slot for E2 Finon. There's a lot of setups you can use it with characters like Maide, Anaxa. Those are a lot more specific. Such as Maide, you have to run them with Cyrene and at base speed. Otherwise, you'll just keep expiring the effect. For Himiko Nova, as I mentioned, it's always going to be your best in slot. For Noxa, it's mainly for people that have the right setups of Cyrene and Ceredra and also have enough defense shred where Quantum set is not doing much, which is really if you just hit 100% outside of it. So in that case, it works. And then E2 plus Finon, it's always best in slot now. So if you have a combination of that, this is perfect for you. Otherwise, Relic remains. And that is it. As you see, you just pick one that has double the value when it comes to relics, as you have the best chances. If you have something that's just like one outside of it, like let's say you can get value from the Elation team, but like let's say your Elation team's already built, but you want to see if you can get an upgrade because it's both value, but you mainly want something like Poet, but you don't have Aglia, so you would farm this and then use your remains on Poet. That's kind of how you would do it. The only exception is again mainly Eagle, just because of how good this set actually is, and then Quantum does apply. However, Eagle is just more valuable in that sense. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, drop a like, be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this along with all the tips and content, and I'll see you later. Peace out.